All right, welcome to today's daily vlog. You can see here I'm posted up in the upcoming office of the gym here at Muscle Inc. But today I'm going to talk about the importance of having an understanding for performance psychology when it comes to training athletes. Without having an understanding of kind of the mind and now, I'm not saying you need to be a psychologist, but what I'm saying is that you need to have an understanding of how to frame things for athletes in the sense of positive self-talk, visualization, and just giving them the understanding that, one, there's more to life than sports, and two, that you care about them as professional. So success is something that I think is defined by the individual. The individual is the one who kind of defines their success. And however far you go, really, I guess, is even so. No matter how far you go, I guess this is the way you frame it to yourself, right? It's like what do you think is success? And it is, like I said, it's specific to the individual, but that needs to be known to the athlete that, listen, your success cannot be external. Your success cannot be about the external results. No matter how much, records mean, no matter how much wins and losses mean, no matter how much points mean, no matter how much X, Y, and Z means, at the end of the day, you have to understand that to be successful, it takes being a better version of yourself every day. Like, if you every day can just go and make yourself better than you were the day before, whether it's in education, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's productivity, whether it's organization, no matter what it is, if you can go from one day to the next and do that consistently over time, not for days, but not for weeks, not for months, but for years, and you can do that, that is success. Your success, your external results will come out of that, not the other way around. You can't look only at getting the external results and not worry about the day-to-day, because you'll drive yourself insane because you're not getting those external results because they're not reachable, they're not attainable yet. So what you have to do is you have to spin it around. You need to focus, okay, what can I do today? What can I do in this moment right now? What can I do in this moment right now to be great? Like, what can I do in this moment to push me forward? What can I do in this moment to get me to my vision? What can I do right now to move me forward? And if that's executing a deadlift to perfection, if that's executing a sprint as maximally as you can, if that's doing a lift as best you can, if that's competing on the field as best you can, if that's playing a full game, if whatever it is, you need to just give everything in that. And if you give everything in that, and you've given everything going up leading to that, that's success. Not the wins, not the losses, not the records. That's success. You will get the results, the external results, once you focus on that. And I think that's something that needs to be stressed to athletes all the time. Very, very specific, very, very hard. Very hard, especially to those that are younger and that are in the high school age now. There's with the way I think the world is changing and the way the world is. I mean, I'm 22. It's not like I've had a lot of experience looking at generations. I am this generation, but just listening to the leaders in the field and, my mentors talk, kids are changing, right? Like self-confidence issues and bad self-talk and, high unrealistic expectations and taking away the world of play. All those things play into your interaction with an athlete, especially if they're younger. In the sense that, they might not be able to get through a workout without having some sort of negative self-talk. They might not be able to get through a workout without imploding. And if you're not ready for that, if you aren't aware of that or how to notice signs and how to reel somebody out of that, you're going to be in for a very not just dangerous but awkward situation. You know what I mean? To see somebody truly implode on themselves, it's a very, very weird, not weird, but it's a very unique situation, and I think it has to be handled delicately. And something that is good for myself that I have insight on that is I used to be that kid. I used to be the kid that would implode and just wouldn't know how to handle their emotions, would lose control, screaming, yelling, crying, doing all this stuff, and I just couldn't control the emotion that I had. I couldn't channel the emotion I had and the passion I had to something that was positive because I was so focused on all the external. Like, people are thinking this, I'm not getting this, I'm not doing this. Instead of being, no, you are going to get that. You work as hard as you can every day to get that. You will get there one day. It is coming. It's a matter of time. That is something that is huge, and I just don't want athletes to think that it's a dry cut process where, hey, you come in, you start working with, me, whoever the hell you are as a coach or trainer, whatever. It's not you come in and just because you're coming in that everything's going to be easier, the process is going to be linear. That's not how it goes. It's hard. It's hard work. And even once you get to where you want to go, it's even harder to not just stay there, but get better from there. That's what we have to stress. And we have to prepare athletes, not just their physical bodies, but their mind. We have to prepare them to have techniques ready to combat those things because you know what? They show up. They're there. Mental health is a problem. Especially now, anxiety, huge. Kids that are 17 are worried about the pressures that they have on them to succeed in a high school game. You know what I mean? It's like when you look from the outside, it's dude, there's not that much on the line. You have so much more of your life to live. You know what I mean? And I get it. This is a huge part. And if when I was, playing, I wouldn't hear any word of what I'm saying right now. But for the sake of a coach reaching to an athlete and reaching them hey, I'm here for you. And part of me being here for you is that you need to understand that this isn't it. You're not defined by this. This does not define who you are. You are who you are because of however you've lived your life. That's you, man. And what happens in this moment is not what defines you. It's how you prepare for the moment, the way you lived your life up to that moment. That's what defines you, not how it comes about, not the result. It's the leading up to, it's the process that defines you. And I think getting to the point where that is stress to athletes, especially younger, that is something that is huge. And I just don't want to see... I would rather have an athlete not improve at all physically, but just be able to be content with himself and getting over depression and anxiety after working with me. I would so much rather have that because at the end of the day, who gives a shit if they can run, a tenth faster and they can bench 20 pounds higher and their vertical is just much better if they go home and they beat themselves to death, in their mind, telling them that they suck, they'll never be good enough, and they're going to live a terrible life. That's not a win. That's not a win. You know what I mean? A win is developing this human being to understand that they are human, to understand that you're going to do well, you're going to do bad, understand that you're going to succeed and you're going to fail. And it's not about what the results are, it's about the process leading up to and what you do right after those moments. That's what needs to be stressed, and that's part of the whole sports performance deal. So I just wanted to talk about that. I just think it's overly important that it's stressed and overly important that we take a care for our athletes in that sense of the mental side. So have a good night.